What's happening, and welcome back, everyone, to All You Can Eat Warriors. And we have a little bit of a buzzing, sound. Is that you, Anton? Just checking, brother.
It could be, bro. Let me just unplug.
Yes, sorry about that, bro.
That's the headphones. We are all good.
Yep, we're good now. Yep, hear you loud and clear, brother. But yeah, everyone, welcome in, everyone, and to All You Can Eat Warriors. The show where we do talk all you can eat, everything about the Warriors, and grateful to have my co-host Ash back. And Ash, how you doing, my man?
Yeah, good, bro. All's good in Australia, man. Just chilling, kicking back and ready for some good old footy this weekend against the Manly Sea Eagles. Obviously beating the Penrith Panthers. Let's do some good things this weekend and smack these this Manly Sea Eagles.
and guys, definitely no stranger to All You Can Eat. But welcome back, Anton, man. How you been, brother?
I've been pretty good, man. I'm pretty good. Thanks for having me. It's feel like in light of the Bunty news, I had to jump on. You've got the t-shirt on today and everything.
Oh, love it. Beautiful, man. Where can you get those from? Anyone?
You can't get them. It was a one-off.
It was a one print.
A designer I was sitting next to, I flogged him for about 2 days making it. And I shouted him some beers.
Very nice.
I made it magic round and ended up sitting on the plane next to him.
Oh, wow.
So he signed my tits on the way there. It was pretty funny.
That's awesome, man. But no, thanks for coming in, man, and welcome in everyone from on YouTube, on Instagram. If you are on Instagram, our apologies, you can't get most of your messages, but if you come on over to wahsup TV on YouTube, we can get to, you can join the chat here. But welcome in, Jacko here, and Jackson Ford. How was training today, Jackson? Bit of recovery. Hopefully you're doing well, man. Tanya, welcome in, Tanya. Richard, Warriors NRL Fanatics, yes. Hello, lads, legends, my man. Yes, we'll catch up with you soon, brother. And Daniel Berry Sports, welcome in again, brother, wherever you are in the world. And Philip Tetai, yes. It's going to be a great game. 40, thank you for coming in. Yes, sir. Yes, well, Anton, bro, me and Ash kind of covered in the full credit to the boys show. We did the post-game show, but we haven't had a chance to, I suppose, hear your views of the game against Souths. What was your thoughts on it, bro? What did you take away from it? Just if you got time to share that.
Yeah. I kind of felt like when the game started, I went into it fairly confident. Just all the stuff that was happening at Souths. I felt that every week we were kind of showing that we were sort of getting things together. Obviously, the Metcalf injury was going to throw a spanner into that, so I wasn't sure what was going to happen with Temaire. But my hunch was that he'd lost his spot. Essentially, he was our first choice last year, and he'd lost his spot. Yep. And Chanel's there now too, so this was his chance to kind of go, nah, this is my jersey, and I think we saw that.
Yeah.
I was expecting to see what I wanted to see was a really good defensive display. I know the attack might take a bit longer to click and whatever, but I just wanted us to defend really well and to show that we could sort of keep that side out for as much of the game as we possibly could. And then South scored first, like straight away. I was like, all these predictions, like, what am I doing here? What's going on? But yeah, I was quite pleasantly surprised. We didn't. It looked like we stayed patient, which was good. Because I think when that happens, sometimes you can get a bit rattled and you can start forcing passes and trying to make things work. And I thought the bench was really good.
Yes.
I thought they offered a lot in terms of their impact and just not allowing that momentum to slip at all. But overall, I think there's still areas that we can improve on for sure. But I was really happy that we just kept it to that one try, and we left points out there as well. I think we could have scored a lot more than we did. We probably have to look at as well as how many minutes we're spending in their 20 without getting a result. Against the good teams, we won't be able to get away with that. If you look at Melbourne, if you give them a chance inside your 20, it's hard to keep them out. We should be working towards becoming a team like that. We're capable of it, but we haven't shown it yet. So overall, real stoked. We got the 2 points. It's the main thing. But I was actually thinking to myself, South didn't show much.
Yeah.
So you don't want to get real carried away. I saw a lot of people going, this is it. This is our turning point, big statement game. Yeah, kind of. It was a good win, but like you want to keep your feet on the ground a little bit, because we've lost games that were in the balance where we should have won in the first 2 rounds. So, but overall, don't want to be a negative Nancy. We absolutely ran the knife through them. I thought so that was really pleasing, and lots of sort of personal things with individual players that I was really pleased with as well. But I'm sure you guys have unpacked in full detail player by player. But I thought Wade Egan was easily best on ground.
Unbelievable.
It was probably the best hooking display I can remember from a Warriors player in a really long time.
Yeah,
and they had little set plays that they were doing, but also he was just watching what they weren't doing, their lazy inside work, their stuff around the ruck. He was all over it, and every time they showed him something, he took it.
Yeah,
and that was just awesome to see that happening. And he played 80 minutes too.
Yes, yeah,
This is awesome.
And when he stays on the park the full 80, we are just a different proposition completely. Freddie's obviously not an option for us for a long time now. So,
Free Freddie.
Sorry, Freddie with the Jackson Ford as a login name. Yeah, but yeah, so it'll be interesting to see whether they maintain that. But yeah, overall impressed.
Yeah, awesome, and I totally agree with you in terms of I'm trying to find the balancing act, because NRL, the game, things can change within a week. There's the argument that Souths were really, really poor, and they were. There's 15 errors.
100%.
And then there's the other side of the argument. Well, what did we do with those errors? I think the majority we punished them. But at the same time, there is an argument, like you said, you want to be able to get on the goal line and score and be effective. But yeah, no, that's really cool. Anything else, actually, Ash, from that you've maybe been thinking about the last few days about the performance against Souths?
Yeah, I think Anton did an amazing job just putting that into like a good little summary there. Like Wade Egan was incredible. Like Adam Finnell-Blake got through a ton of work as well. Watching back over the game and all that. Like, yeah, I thought everyone really stood up when they had to, especially when we're down on men. We had to dip into our depth a little bit there. Jacob Laban, again, like I think we spoke about it a little bit in our last show and that, but like, strong in contact, only played a 20-minute role or whatever, but, did really, really well in that role. But, Tom Ale was really, really, really impressive as well. And Bunty has been amazing. I know, Anton, we're going to touch on him very, very soon, but he's been very, very good to start the season, and he continued on to be this before that hamstring injury. Obviously, I thought just defensively he's so strong, and I thought, honestly, to start the game, I thought South actually came out very physical, like more physical than I've seen probably to start their season. Like players like, Totola and all that, they always seem to have decent games against the Warriors. Like I remember Magic Round, watching live in Magic Round, I was actually chirping Totola a little bit too much, I reckon. And I reckon I got into his head, and he just wanted to beat me down and have an amazing performance. I think this is a couple of years ago when they put 30 on it. Yeah. Oh, disgusting, bro. I was at that game and I was like, why? I need to stop talking to this man because he just keeps dominating us through the middle. But overall, pretty solid performance. Chancey, bro, just like puts to bed all the questions of being fullback, you know what I mean? Like the whole RTS and him. We would, as you see the team list this week, we look amazing on paper, especially, having Sheck and Chance in our squad, not just having, RTS. That's in my opinion. But yeah, great game overall.
Yeah, no, awesome. Look, let's just do a bit of video, man. We won't spend too much time in it, but good to just reflect, I suppose, on the whole performance. Let me bring it up, and it'd be good to hear actually Anton's thoughts as well on the stuff. Let me just see if I can. Here we go. Yeah, so this is the. Sorry, I did a little bit of work with Josh last night, but this is kind of the second try, I think. Yeah, nice to see us using lead runners, hitting them hard and scoring 2 tries off of it. Yeah. Anton, what's been your thoughts on I suppose us adapting to what the defense is kind of giving us? Do you feel as though each game we're kind of changing our kind of tactics to suit the team we're coming up against?
I mean, we've had a change of halves, which is always going to change the way things happen, and change of fullback as well. The Chance is a very different fullback to Tuaupiki.
100%.
But essentially, I think we're actually sticking to, or we're trying to stick to a very, kind of set structure. I was listening to Brandon Smith today, who was talking about the Warriors, and he was saying that the stuff that we were doing in attack was all the stuff that Souths hate. So
yeah, good point.
Big high kicks, real boring, just lands in the corner, and you've got all the runners are just whacking you in that first 5 meters after you catching the ball, or even the first 5 milliseconds after you catch it. Rocco Berry was on everything. He just chased. That's his job, and he got it wrong, I think, once or twice, where he just fraction early. Yep. But essentially, he's just so horny to get there straight away. he just can't wait to whack that.
The horn dog.
The horn dog Berry.
Job, right? They're like sending him out there, just going like, you hit that guy and you pin him down in that corner. And then 100%. Everybody else, you come up and you make it so hard for them to get out, and they're kicking on the 30-meter line. Yeah, and so that is giving us it's effectively it's more effective than getting a repeat set because it wears those guys out. They're not getting forwards bringing the ball out. They're getting all their backs just running their guts out, just trying to get out of that 30-meter line. And then, of course, we're getting the ball on about the 40 and then running it back, and then suddenly they're defending on their 20 again. Yeah, so. Exactly. Like, I think sticking to that structure is something that we've been really good at, and we're getting better and better at it, even though it's kind of boring and you go, oh, here comes another up and under. Maybe we try something different. Having the patience to stick to that game plan is actually proving really effective. And then in the end of the games, they start breaking because they start making mistakes or forcing things, or they kick out on the full, or they do some dumb shit like Latrell did. Yeah. It just frustrates players, and I think that's been really good. Ford is running an awesome line at the moment, man. He's getting stronger and stronger and stronger at that line, and Sean's getting much better at picking it too. 100%. He's on both sides of the field now, Sean, too. So it's not this Warriors right edge thing anymore. He's on the right edge, but he's swinging to the left as well, and that keeps the defense guessing. So when it goes the other way to Temade, that's kind of like they're not expecting that. And to have a player like that who can come in and actually be a point of attack as much as he is, that's such a cool thing to be able to throw into the mix. So it's exciting, man. You've got this really, really good kind of structure and simple game plan of how to win footy games and apply pressure. And then you've got all these individual players that are playing their role really well and just improving in what they're doing. And the effort areas across the board are awesome. You can't fault it. And our fitness is really actually getting a leg up on a lot of teams too. 100%. You're watching around. I mean, I try to watch every game, every round, which is a bit of a struggle with an 18-month-old baby. But I'm up anyway, right? Fuck it. Yeah. It's actually what I'm noticing about some of the teams that are getting blown away a little bit is is they can't go with teams and defend their goal line. They just can't.
Yeah.
They can't make that many tackles and be pinned down there for that long because they just don't have the stamina in them yet. It's too early in the season to have those Ks. But you're noticing the teams that have got it are the ones that can defend their goal line for long periods already. And some of those teams are going to start to pull away pretty soon. You're going to start seeing like 40-point hidings of some of these other teams. So that's really pleasing that we're not in that bracket anymore. We have been some years.
Yeah, I think the best way you can sum it up, bro, is like, honestly, we just suffocate teams with our game plan. And like, that's a solid thing. Like, we tried to do the same thing to the Melbourne Storm. And like, I thought we did that. We went without fail, just kept going back to the well, kick it up to Xavier Coach, try to put him on the back foot because he was the game before made like 170 meters and that was all back end running and all that. So getting him on the back foot, not getting teams get one up in good field position. And then later on in the game, the stuff will turn. It was just really unfortunate in that Storm game. It turned back again really late in the game and we end up losing it on that one. But we're learning little things in every game that we have. And I think that's probably another thing you're probably seeing, Levon, now is like, you know, to start the season, we had a game plan, we're sticking to it. And Webby's like coming off last year, Webby just seems to tinker with things every so often and fix little things, and we focus on ourselves where we just keep growing in an upward trajectory. It's like, well, honestly, we got like the Panthers game plan in a way, but with a different mold, like a Warriors mold. Like the Panthers run a lot back through the middle and try to tire up the middle of the ruck and all that, where I feel like sometimes we look a little bit more to our edges, a little bit more running out our edge back rollers and running out Shawnee's way. And then someone like Wade Egan for the middle, like he's so damaging when there's a bit of tired forward pack playing off the back foot. So yeah, it's a little bit like a Panthers variation, but with a little bit of Warriors flavor put in there. So it's really exciting to see where we could go if we continue to grow on this trajectory to the end of the season.
I think you mentioned that Melbourne game as well, because there was that there's that thing of like when you're watching it live, the commentators were like, I don't know why they're hitting the ball high to Xavier Coates every time.
Exactly.
Because he's like the tallest guy on the field. He's amazing under the high ball. But then eventually he's gonna have an error in him. And he basically, it's like it might be 1 in 10. But that one time he does drop it as a scoring opportunity. Yeah. And I saw the Broncos do the same thing. They basically copied that blueprint and he coughed it up and they scored from it.
Yeah.
So that was it was really interesting to see that whole game plan, because I haven't seen teams target Coates like that before.
Yeah. And
then the very next week we saw the Broncos do it, which I thought was real interesting to see other coaches following Webby's game plan.
I'm really curious to see if obviously Magic Round we come up against the Penrith Panthers, but with a damaging backline of like Toto and Taruva, who we're going to single out there. Because I would, in my head, thinking our game plan, like Toto gets for a lot of his best work off those second, third tackle hit-ups, stuff like that. If we get him off the kick pretty early so he's not making a big run return or whatever, or do we just like continue going down that right edge? And Taruva has been known at times to cough up the ball. Even like, Dylan Edwards at times can have those moments too. So I'm really wondering of where our game plan looks against the Panthers back line as well, and see if we can suffocate a team like them, which is a lot easier said than done, obviously, the Panthers being the Panthers. But I'm curious to see what this game plan and this look goes up against those Panthers. So really excited.
Yeah, no, I loving the chat, boys, and let me just get through this one here. I mean, just look at the shape there. Look how tight they are. You got Sean on the other side. Look at Tamaida just hunting. These guys are just so in tune. CNK coming from the other side of the ruck, sneaking in behind, and just a beautiful play. Tohu fades, pulls wide, just keeping Kippy honest there, and then it's really the work from Egan to draw in Cook there, and just create the space, fend off. Look at Tamaida just chasing through right there. Like that's what I've been wanting to see is guys sniffing around the ruck with Egan, and I think this was just beautiful.
Did you pick out the one we did earlier on in the game? I think we ran that same look. But I think Tohu just didn't take a look back inside. I think it was just early on in the game just to see what that looks like. And then we end up variating on top of that. And chance, bro. Oof.
Yeah, that was 100% a set play, that one, though, there. Because Wade didn't where Chance was positioned. He actually came from immediately behind Wade. So he couldn't see exactly where he was. He just knew where he was supposed to be at a point in time. So you had Sean outside, flash in the eyes, give it to me. And then you had Harrison there running that kind of face ball line sort of thing, and he'd received a couple, like you say, early on. So they got to watch that. And then he straightened his eyes and looked straight at the marker, which engaged him. And then he just threw the ball over his shoulder. Didn't even look. That wasn't Tohu. That wasn't Sean. He just knew. He knew Chance was going to be just over his shoulder. And it hit him right in the chest. And that is a really well-rehearsed move. But everybody has to be in the right spot.
Yeah, everyone's got to be doing their part.
You can't ignore any of those players in motion. And to have 3 or 4 players in motion like that on one play, it's really exciting because as a defensive unit, you're trying to stay on your man and watch all that stuff. But there's so much going on, and all 3 options are completely valid plays. And he throws the one that he's not even looking at. He throws to a ghost.
Yeah. The usual one is the outside ball to Tohu, then back inside. That's the very Melbourne type one.
That's right. The little triangle.
But this one's almost the dummy. Yeah. You're selling the outside as the decoy almost. Yeah.
And was that Sean Kepi marking it defender?
Yeah, Kepi. Yeah, they got
Kepi. He's the guy you want.
They want Kepi. They see Kepi there.
Yeah. Not too fast, not too smart. That's the exact right guy.
But I was cracking up with this one when you could see Sean, because both Tamati and Sean were chasing, and it was like pick which one you want. And I'm sure Sean looked at Tamati, was like, "Sorry, bro, I need the Deli in points here, man."
Yeah.
We'll just move into this next one here, but the joy on the face. I love seeing these guys happy. Just super stoked. No ego. All this was beautiful. Another great one. Retreating one marker, working him back across, and I love how he just releases into the dummy and straight into the fend.
Mm-hmm.
He does this really well. It's a hard sell, then switch hands, palm.
Does he look good?
And then the releasing of the pass. And same again to Maide, just sniffing around, looking for an opportunity. But just beautiful. And then obviously support play here.
The support is really impressive, isn't it? Like, how many times do you see teams where someone makes a great run and they're looking around? Like Souths did it. You saw it with Damien Cook, and he get a little bit of a break and look around. There's no one there.
No one there. Yeah, bang on.
On our tries, we could have had like 3 or 4 players score some of those tries.
100%.
It was like, who do I give it to here? Who have I got in my super coach team that I want to score well from?
This was a good
I love this. Yeah.
Mighty actually, Sean kind of created that separation or space to put, I suppose, Latrell in a big bind. But Tamati nailed the pass too. I thought that was really nice.
And to end it, obviously, Shawnee looking at him going, do you want the ball back for to score a try? Or?
Like, no, I'm going to take these 6 Deli in points right here.
And it's Maya's like, nah, bro, like, I got another one later on. Don't worry about it. It's all good.
Tamati could have had 6 on. He could have had 3 tries.
Amazing.
Beautiful. Beautiful as. This one again, working the short side. I thought they did really well. Instead of going for the double leads, I've been doing double leads all the time.
Yeah.
This was like doing more of just working from the near post, working the short side. Barry with these just great lines.
Beautiful.
Like beautiful straight lines. And then obviously they'd been working Whiten earlier in the game, so Whiten obviously holding out. But this is what I'm talking about with CNK, the link play that he provides. It's just the little details, like just releasing the pass at the right time.
Yeah.
And then Roger, just a massive finish as well. Yeah. But
it's interesting to see him playing on the wing quite for a lot of that game.
Yeah.
Where he was kind of named at center, but I thought it was really interesting to see him sort of push wide for most of the game when we were in attack. And it kind of makes a lot of sense when you think about it. But yeah, I thought that was really interesting. And I think if it was, someone else in that position, maybe they wouldn't have got that ball down.
Yeah, I thought Roger, man, just his versatility and the ego thing. No ego, it's not like he's demanding anything, but just to be able to perform in all of those situations is awesome.
I'm just really curious on seeing Tamati with Rog this week. Obviously, you know, we had bumps on that side and he did well with that side as well. There was a couple of moments where Monty got some free space and that down that edge. But, you know, we're going to be we got a lot more weapons now on both sides. Like Rog obviously is very much an attacking weapon. So having both sides that are flooded with attacking weapons, I'm really, really excited to see how it goes, especially with Jacko running these lines.
Yeah. Didn't this remind you of Luai?
Yeah, bro, 100%.
The one step and then the other step. Like that's just Luai right there.
That's Luai, yeah.
But I thought this was a cool to see. And again, it goes back to the storyline of Metcalf and Tamati just seeing the game differently and providing something different.
Yep.
I just think Tamati had an awesome game and then bursting through. He looks really like healthy.
He does.
Like he looks in like good form.
He just wanted that try, man. We're up by 24 points with about 9 minutes to go.
You can know
he wanted to get to that. Like the way he ran that ball as a 5'8", like he could have gone outside. And he just saw that hole. He was like, nah, I'm having a go at this. It was really good to see. And he had a lot more powerful than you think. He's only got little skinny chicken legs.
Yeah,
well, I mean, I can't talk, but you know, like when you compare it to someone like Rog or whatever. But yeah, he had a lot of power there. He went through about 3 players to score that.
100%. And back to Wade Egan too, like he's got deceptive strength, upper body strength, Like no matter what, whenever he throws those dummy and goes, like he's pumping off some big front rollers and that. Like his upper body strength must be really, really nice because he always, you know, gets into contact well, gets a couple of post contact meters and finds the offload, finds something going on. He's really, really strong upper body.
Yeah, no, definitely. What's a Jackson Ford saying? Can I just RIP to Ben Travojevic ankles in advance?
Shout out for the spelling on Ben Travojevic there.
Yeah, is that the proper spelling?
That's the right one.
No, man, I can. Yeah, I always go Tro.
Yeah. We're rare to see a T and R and a B together.
Yeah, very nice. Hey, let's get into this team list, guys. So thanks for doing that with me. Enjoyed that. Let's break it down. I suppose the first thing I want to talk to you, Anton, is definitely about Bunty. Obviously, the injury sounds like it's going to be 6 to 8 weeks. But can you talk to me? I mean, we talked at the start of the season, even the preseason, about we thought Bunty as a starter was, and if he wasn't starting, we didn't almost see his value. But man, he's proven a lot of us wrong in his own way. What was your opinion of evaluation of him from the start of the season?
Oh, look, I think he's definitely improved some areas of his game for sure. I'm obviously watching him very closely a lot of the time, but what I really like about his play as well, because like let's be real, like a lot of the time last year when the game was in the balance, they'd put Adam and Mitch out there as long as they could. Yeah. And Adam was playing crazy minutes, and Harris just won't come off. No. So, you know, they could be holding his number up for 20 minutes. He's just like, nah. Stays out there. I've got enough tape. I'm fine. That's fine. You know, I think what I noticed with Bunty a lot is his ruck play. So, especially in that first 20 minutes, when he comes on, he's really tidy around that ruck, and so he's always square, and winning that wrestle as well. He just knows exactly how long to stay on before getting off, and you don't really see him giving away 6 agains or anything like that. But I've actually found across the board the Warriors have been pretty good at slowing the ruck down. And in fact, a lot of other fans from other clubs are having a massive cry about it. Right? They're lying all over the ruck.
The tides have turned.
Yeah, and it's what happens when you are kind of like you know, winning the ruck basically. And you know, Melbourne's been doing it for years, and everyone's like, we've got to stop this wrestle. It's like, well, just you're not as good as them at doing it. Other teams can do exactly what they're doing, but they're just not, because they're the best at it. And so I think like we just seem to have kind of all that wrestling training and all that sort of stuff. I think it's all paying off, and I think he's one of the better proponents of that, I would suggest. So I think we are going to miss him. It's not so much for his runs. I think people look at front rows in quite simplistic ways, like how many runs did you make, how many meters did you make, how many tackles did you make, and that's kind of where it stops. But the lead run, the way he draws line, you know, players, he never obstructs anyone when there's an attacking play on. There's lots of little things in his game that he does right, and I think Younger players, it actually takes quite a lot to learn a lot of those nuances about being a front rower.
Yep.
Having said that, I think we have got fairly good backup. Zion is not far away, I would suggest.
Yep.
And Jazz Tavanga, if he has another game like that, I think we might see Zion pretty soon. There was this suggestion of a niggle with him anyway this week. So it wouldn't actually surprise me if that's a late change before kickoff. But yeah, I obviously sorry to see my boy go down. It sucks. I got that big sign. What the hell am I going to do with
it? Change a couple of letters, bro.
Yeah. A similar name.
I'll still appreciate.
Yeah, fine. Yeah, bro.
No, I mean, I've got to. Me and Anton have, me and Ash have had to eat a bit of humble pie on certain guys
100%.
and Tamaide. Our evaluation was that we wanted CHT, and he goes and does a performance like that. But if I'm being really honest, I've been really impressed with Bunty, and even off the bench, his work rate is improved. Like I think a lot of guys like Bunty and that you have to really look at it in the details. Like you've been looking at it closely, and you could say to yourself, he's improved or he's maintained his standards. I think he's been really good in all the contact, all the tackle efficient. He's really good if you, like you said, around the ruck. His tackling, it's real tight. It's no loose, nothing loose about it. And even he's had some really nice carries. If you think of the carries that he's been getting getting through the line.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so you have to actually acknowledge that. And I think Webby's the master of it. Actually, Webby's the guy finding the place where he fits because he's got a unique skill set, and Webby's figured out how to best capture that.
His shape as well. He's not super tall, so when he goes into contact, he's not looking to drag three guys with him for another 5 meters. He's looking to play the ball quickly. So that's where the stats lie sometimes, is that often after his carry, you'll see something happen in the next play. So you'll get a good quick play of the ball, and then you'll suddenly have the markers on the back foot. Egan's doing something. So I actually think the measure of a lot of those carries is the play that happens next. It's not obviously not just Bunty. It's a lot of the guys are doing it quickly as well. Adam's playing the ball real quick.
Yeah.
He's got three guys on him, and he's still standing up, and he plays the ball. I think they're all waiting for him to fall over, and he doesn't.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of that stuff is it's kind of underappreciated. People don't really talk about those little things, but it all helps to get that momentum, during the game. And meters are not a problem for our team at all.
Nah.
We are marching teams down the field. Even with Melbourne, we were getting down that other end pretty easy. Sharks, they got a big pack. We had plenty of time in their 20, plenty of time. So the moment we can start to ice some of that stuff, then all that stuff the forwards are doing in the middle is going to start paying off.
Yeah, and this is a good one. Up the wire saying, seen Bunty with a little late footwork on the weekend too. So good to see him trying to improve his own game. Yeah, little subtle things, eh? I mean, you have to really look closely at it, but as he's developing, he's how tall is he, Anton? Because he seems massive on TV, but is he like?
No, he's not super tall. I reckon he's probably 6 foot, maybe just
6. Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Is it the hair? It must be the hair.
Yeah, the hair.
The hair gives us some.
Get another couple of feet.
Yeah. If you did it up like a pineapple, it'd be about 8 foot tall.
Yeah, I wish I could grow my hair like that.
Yeah.
Make me look a bit taller. I love it. Okay, well let's jump into the team list. Look, obviously Dallon's back, and RTS back to left centre. And Tamaide obviously holds a spot in the backs. The front row is actually the starting front row, which is great because we do lose a little bit, obviously, with Jazz out. And the interchanges is CHT, Tom Arley, Jazz Tavanga, and Laban. Actually, I just want to quickly track back to just quickly, Anton, on RTS. I think we talked about it in terms of the start of the season. I think we were talking maybe right centre. I can't remember.
Yeah.
But how have you found him as a left centre, bro?
Fine. I mean, he carries the ball with two hands anyway. Like he seems to run like that anyway. I think there was always going to be a bit of adjustment for him, regardless, and just playing centre again at centre at NRL level. and he's just getting better with every game. And
Yeah.
I think we're only just scratching the surface to see how he's going to get used within games. So rather than just staying in his channel, we're definitely not seeing that. We're already seeing him pushing him to the wing. We're seeing him come up through the middle and support. We're already seeing something like that. The word roaming gets used a lot, but it's such a vague term. I think there's ways to kind of be a bit more structured than that, than just have I always think of Joey Manu when I think roaming, and it can often muck up the attack.
Yeah, it does.
A guy running sideways, palming guys, and not actually, running it straight at all, or finding a runner, then it actually slows your momentum down, and it allows the whole line to reset and all that sort of stuff. So, I mean, I kind of like what Webby's doing. He's not trying to make him do too much. But yeah, I think on the left is fine. I'm more so interested in trying to keep Rocco and Kurt Capewell together. So I kind of reckon that as a combo, I love it. I really love it. I love watching it, and I just think it's going to get better and better as time goes on.
100%.
Yeah, no, I love it. But yeah, that's good. It's great to hear. Our predictions are so different to what has eventuated, but it's just been awesome to witness. Ash, your thoughts on let's just talk about I suppose the big talking point first is the bench. Are we a little light? Are we a little inexperienced? What's your views on the bench, bro?
Yeah, somewhat, bro. Somewhat. Obviously, Chanel will probably be that utility role that's going to jump in a bit everywhere. Tom Arles, probably the more, Jazzy Tavanga is obviously the more experienced middle through there, but a smaller body. Tom Arles definitely the bigger body through the middle there, but a little bit less experienced. Jacob Laban on his second game at NRL. Yeah, and we can't really, judging by obviously the reserves that have been named, there's no Dylan Walker that's going to have a late move in here, even though he's not really a bigger body or anything going on. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how we go on game day, because there has been a lot of shifting the way everything's going. The Webby coming into games, he obviously, changes up some looks and stuff. Whether Zion maybe does get a little shot there over Jazzy and that. I really want to bounce my ideas off you guys. Like, what's your thoughts on Jazzy? Does Jazzy deserve to hold that spot? Because I'm not as far as I want Jazzy out of the squad yet. I think that he does some good, he has errors in his game. We all know this. He does need to fix it. But sometimes he does a lot of good work in defense at times. He was snapping blokes on the weekend. I thought, he didn't have the best game overall. Obviously a couple of big errors in that, but Jazzy is a classy player. He's always been a classy player with us. I want to hear what your thoughts are overall. Would you go Zion or would you go Jazzy?
Anton, what's your thoughts, bro?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of experience in this Manly pack. Not so much in the pack, but in the team itself. If you look at Cherry Evans and Tom Trbojevic, they can spot stuff just like Wade Egan can spot stuff in the line as well. Yep. I think where we're effective, size is not an issue to me, because essentially Harris plays as a prop as well. Yeah. On one of those interchanges, he pushes forward. So essentially, you've kind of got him, Fanua Blake, and Mitch Barnett playing fairly big minutes and eating up a lot of those minutes. Yeah. Ale's going to do what Ale does off the bench, which is great. So Jazz, really for me, his role is to come on and to try and understand the shapes, really defend really, really well, and not make any more errors, man. That's the test for me. Everybody else has kind of cleaned up their game a bit. Ford used to be good for about a couple of knock-ons a game. Even he's tidying that up. He got a bit of a hospital pass the weekend, which I'm not going to hold against him. But that was a really big knock on him last season. It was he'd be great if he could just not make errors all the time and sort of give away 6 agains. And he's cleaned that up massively, I think, this year. And he just looks like about another 10% improved. For Jazz, I think, I don't know whether it's he's just really keen to get on and make an impact. Yeah. And have a big play, knock a ball free or get under someone's skin or do something like that. I don't know if that's what it is, but if he can get that out of his game, I think it's he's a good player. He's just 100%. A good player, and I think he gives you a lot of versatility. And he kind of understands the ball playing really well too. He's not just a simple hit it up kind of guy. But having said that, if Zion was to get a debut, I think that'd be great. I'm so excited about that.
Yeah.
Laban's huge as well. Have you seen?
Oh, he's
have you seen
massive.
Laban in real life?
Massive, eh, bro? Yeah.
Oh,
Bro, he
I haven't
is-
seen him in real life, but bro,
He's a unit, man. He's massive.
Mm.
So he's a big body to bring into that side somewhere.
yeah,
So yeah, if you've got one rookie who's coming in and he's playing his second game of NRL, I don't know whether you want Zion necessarily as well if you can avoid it.
Yeah, it's true.
yeah, exactly.
So I'm happy for Jazz to be there for sure. I just hope that he has a better game, because if he has another game like he played last week, I think it's gonna allow someone like Zion to force his way onto the bench.
Yeah, I think the problem with Jazz that I have is, for example, Jacko Ford's errors usually come from a pass. He's receiving a ball in a high impact situation. There's probability for an error. Jazz Tavanga's errors are usually he has the ball for about 2 to 3 seconds. He can control that, but he loses it in the tackle. Like the error is really on him a lot of the time. So I think he can fix that. Only he can fix and knows how to fix it, because he's the one that's holding the ball. It's not like he's getting these hospital passes at the line. Most of the time he can control that. So he just needs to sort that out amongst himself. But he does have, of all the players, him and Jacko Ford to an extent, but him especially, he has one error and then it's another one. Pretty much within a short space of time, and it just compounds. And like if he actually off the error that he made, South broke the line, but it just fell apart. So he was lucky in terms of and not having an impact. But against a team like Manly coming up, or we're talking Broncos, you do not want to do that. You just can't afford that.
I think there's a massive difference between Jazzy's best game and maybe his worst game, and in between. And I feel like when he goes back to Cup, he's way too good for Cup. You know what I mean? You've seen that in his Cup form and that 200 meters, 20 runs, some amazing numbers in Cup and that. He's too good for that. But when he gets up into the NRL competition, obviously there is a bigger step up. There's a massive step up, but the difference between his best game and his worst game is quite far away. I just want, I want that. We saw a taste of it last year when Dylan Walker gets back healthy. I want to see if we do run with the Ball brothers through the middle. Their leg speed looks so vital for the middle. But then again, maybe do we need that anymore? Running, we got Sheck that we can, as Anton was saying, run some sets with Sheck for the middle. Not like a Joey Manu giving the ball and let him go. Let Wade Egan play with Sheck, play with Chance. Do we need the Ball brothers again? There's a lot of variations of what we could be doing this year. So I'm really curious of could this be Jazzy's last sort of time around with us at the moment if he doesn't pick this up? That's a big thing.
We could always shave someone else if he doesn't step up. And Walker could have another cue ball.
What does Bunty look bold, bro?
I think a couple of weeks ago when he was dropped to Cup, we were quite stacked in our pack.
Yeah,
I think that was a taste of, okay, at full strength, you're not in our forward pack. You're not on our bench. Yep. You're a little bit outside. And he's always been an emotional player. Even when he's interviewed, he's so passionate about the Warriors. He doesn't want to play for another club. He loves our club, and he's always trying to do the best he can. And I think a lot of that effort spills over, that emotion spills over into errors a lot of the time. And I think that's been heightened by the fact that he knows that his spot is not his anymore. When Walker's back in, there's every chance he's back to Cup.
Exactly.
So I think that added pressure when you're going on for 20 minutes, you want to make an impact and you want to be seen to be doing something, not just padding stats out and making tackles. You want to be remembered for your time on the field. But unfortunately, some of that stuff is playing out in a negative way, which is really unfortunate because I think everybody who follows the club
love Jazz,
likes him as a person. They love Jazz. He's almost like a talisman for us. But I mean, you can't deny he's battled this stuff throughout his career. So
100%.
Yeah. Nah. Hey guys, 83 people in here. We appreciate you guys being in here. Can you please, if you are here for the first time, give us a like and a subscribe. It does help with the algorithm and helps with us to grow the channel. We appreciate you guys. Yeah, as you can see, please like and subscribe and hit the notification bell. I love it. Let's go into do you guys have any concerns with obviously Cakewell coming back, DWZ? I think they went miss a beat. Do you guys feel the same as me?
Yeah, but it looks like KP was off for a head knock and that, so hopefully, everything's all good that end. He should be back and, it shouldn't really hamper him too much, hopefully. Dal is obviously a bit of a, depending on, because obviously, Webby came out and said that if he played last week, it could have been a serious thing. He could have been out for another 4 weeks. It was like a little strain, wasn't it, or something like that he was carrying. So whether he's fully back and ready to go for this one is still a wait to see and all that. But, he's been named, and I'm excited to see him on there because he does, like, the team looks better with Dal on the wing, honestly, and Sheck, being in the side as well, you know what I mean? So, I'm happy for both those guys. And it's just Dal if he's fully healthy. That's my only thoughts.
Yeah.
I don't think they'll be playing. I think last week he missed because he had some tightness. There was no tear. There wasn't anything like that. I think it was just a precautionary thing.
Yep.
And I maybe a little bit of arrogance, kind of going like, oh, well, we'll just rest him. We don't need him. This is not the grand final this week, And I guess when you're so early on in the season, and we have got players that we kind of want to see how they go at NRL level.
100%.
We want to see how they look in this back line. That's not to say they're going to steal someone's spot, but at some point we're going to be challenged by injuries and we're going to need guys to step in. So that's a great game, I think, to get someone else in there. It's the same for Capewell as well, because his ribs got hammered a few weeks ago. Do you guys remember that?
Yeah.
He could hardly walk. And I was like, bro, he's going to be out for ages. He looks terrible out there. And he went off for a bit and then he came back on. I think it was the Canberra game.
Yep.
And then he got named the next week, and I was like, how is this happening? Who is this guy? I mean, he must have had like more needles than Hellraiser. He's just like, yeah, and then I wasn't, so I know it was a head knock, but I think that extra week off for the ribs has got to be a good thing too.
It's going to help.
That's a real painful one.
Yeah. No, I think, I think it's a good looking squad. I actually, it's weird when we look at these squads because we miss guys, but you still feel like we've got. You feel comfortable, like to know that we're solid, And I think it's just credit to the whole team. Let's get into the Manly squad. Like a really good squad. Travojevic at the back, Tommy Talau, Tolutau Kola, Ben Travojevic, Jackson Polo, Luke Brooks and Deli Cherry Evans, Taniela Paseka, Lachlan Croker as hooker, Josh Aluai, props, Olakoatu, Corey Waddell, Jake Travojevic, Carl Lawton off the bench, Ethan Bullimore, Tor for four, Sipley, and Nathan Brown. Like, pretty solid squad. Solid. Ash, what's your read? I haven't had a chance to watch that Manly Penrith game. What's the takeaways from that, and how does that carry into this week's game against us, do you think?
I think there's two different ways we could definitely look at it. I felt like, they were riding on a lot of emotion last week, being Cherry Evans 310, obviously breaking the record for the club and that, being the most capped Seagull and all that. So there was a lot of that going into it, playing the Penrith Panthers, wanting to beat the Penrith Panthers when they had the chance. They played absolutely amazing. I thought DC's kicking game is top notch. DC keeps doing what he does, you know what I mean? And they just got strike across the park when you got Tommy Trbojevic, you got Gola, that's just got speed to burn. I think, those sort of guys we need to shut down quite early. And I believe with the game plan that we have, as we were kind of touching on before, do we maybe try to shut down Tommy by kicking him out of the game, high kicks in the air, get to him early or anything like that? Do we just keep bombing down? Jackson Bolo has a couple of errors in his game as well, so I'm really excited to see if we can get under his skin really early on. But that forward pack as well, just big, strong, mobile, and then you got Drake Travojevic in the middle that just chops blokes. So they got a lot of versatility across the whole squad. Lukey Brooks having a good season for his first season in the Seagulls. I'm really excited because this is actually a really, really solid matchup in my eyes overall. But I do feel like we can put him in their shell. They've showed that in the past, with the Eels game. They lost it a little bit there. They struggled to wrangle it back. The Dragons game, they really struggled to really keep on top of the Dragons in that one. So I believe we can do very similar things here, but we just got to shut down those strike men of Gola, Trbojevic, DC, and Brooksy as early as we can. Even Loki Croker, who's deadly at those 40-20s, can turn our boys around quite easily. So those are the things we should look out to.
What's your thoughts, Anton, on their squad? Anyone that's strengths, weaknesses, that type of thing?
Well, the main thing in in the team list that your eye goes straight to is no Ruben Garrick, and they have Ben Trebojevic in the centres.
That's a big one.
That's the first thing I noticed. So obviously he's going to be a target. I would imagine they're going to send quite a bit of traffic his way.
Yep.
But I think overall, like you say, Ash, I think their squad's actually really well balanced. I like their bench. Sipley, one of our old boys, is getting better every year, and he's back now. And I think Nathan Brown, I thought he took the game away from Penrith last week when he came on. Just completely, just such a bully in the middle there, and just really, really quick line speed and defense. And he's one of those guys where you want to know where he is in the defensive line.
100%.
If you've got the ball and you're waiting to take a hit up, you don't want to see old fucking crazy eyes like lining you up. You're like, oh no, I don't want the ball actually right now. I don't want.
You don't know what he's going to do, bro. You don't know what he's going to do.
I think between him and Jazz, it could be like a race to the bin.
100%.
No one's afraid of the bin. Like I think those two guys, they just got no fear. So I don't know. I think it is a really well balanced side, a potential banana peel game for us. Feeling overconfident from the South when really they didn't throw much at us the whole game.
True.
They're going to throw plenty. They're going to throw plenty at us. And so I think for me, if we can stick to that game plan of just leaving them parked down that other end as long as we can, I think they will have errors in them. One thing that they've got that South doesn't kind of have is a long kick. So Cherry Evans can get them out of trouble with his kicks. He's got a huge boot on him. And oftentimes when they finish a kind of an ordinary looking set, suddenly they've got the other team pinned down 15 meters out from their line, where other teams would have them 40 meters out. And it's just a really experienced player who's just, he doesn't look like he's as old as he is. You'd never know it. Like he was unreal last week. So, but maybe, I don't know, maybe they're going into it thinking that they're a bit too fancied as well. Maybe they've got a bit of that in them too, where they've just had a big win and, everyone's feeding grapes to Cherry Evans all week. And he's all nice and soft for us, but I don't know. We can't. That's the wishful thinking hat on. I don't think we're going to get that. I think it's going to be a tough game, and I think it'll be the team that makes the least errors that wins.
Good
call.
I
think that's a double of it, bro. Like, double-edged sword. We got like us coming off a major win last week. There's a lot of talk of the town at the moment. Everyone's like, that wasn't calling us premiership favourites or anything before this. They've after this game, it's already just turned around, bang, like these guys are on top of everything and all that. But then you got Manly on the other side of things, just beating the Premiers, without Cleary and all that, but they still beat the Premiers in a very, very good performance overall. The emotion they put into that performance for DCE, whether they are coming a little bit tired from that. I know it's still early in the season, but when they get themselves up for big games like that, maybe that takes a toll. So it's a bit of both sides here. Who's going to be the ones to act real mature and just continue on their work? And I hope that's the thing that Webby's really getting into our squad, is just focus on our own game. And we still got a lot to prove on. Every time you get to a press conference, he always says, this is not a perfect performance. We still got things to grow. So I think hopefully Webby keeps them mature and we go out there to strike.
I think with this bench in particular, if they can do it with this bench, bro, I'm like, this team's going to go very, very far, because the argument in the first 3 or 4 rounds was there was massive lulls right in the middle of the game. What I actually give credit to Bunty and even Jazz and Ali, they've actually come in and actually tightened that up, that part of the game really well over the last couple of weeks. The argument is actually that now that Bunty's out, who's that guy off the bench? Well, it's obviously either going to be Jazz or Tom, but they need to be very super tight in that window. And I give credit to Bunty in that window, keeping momentum on our side, keeping everything tight. Again, we talk about Jazz. He is very good, but if we get an error or two, that can just shift momentum, and again, we just can't afford to lose those periods of time. But we've done very well. I'm wondering if this bench might be a little bit too light on experience to handle that, and maybe there might be some. I wouldn't be surprised if Manly go ahead at some point. And
I would say
too dangerous.
I would say quickly, bro, I think this is a massive game for Tom Arlea as well, to really show how much he's grown. Like, I feel like, to start the season, he has grown a lot to his game, and that last week had a really decent game. This is one, obviously, he hasn't got Bunty to back him up as a partner coming off the bench, and that's a more experienced prop that's going to show him his way, coming onto that field. Tom Ale, hopefully with looking at that bench, is the one that I'm looking for to be like that guy that's just going to come on and hopefully, grow with that performance and that. So I'm really curious to see Tom Ale in this game and see how he takes on the prospect of Sipley when he comes on, Nathan Brown, all those sort of boys. It's a big growth game for Tom Ale here.
I wouldn't be surprised if they give him a simplified mission like that. If they just go, your guy is Nathan Brown.
Yep.
I want you to make it personal. You take him on. You shut his line speed down. Always keep an eye on him, and you just stop that carry. You just 100%. Get that carry on the ground, win the wrestle, and get that guy down. That's your guy. I think something like that. It's he's got the power to do that because he's just such a strong bugger. But I'm not so much looking for the big back fence runs from him. I'm looking for that work in defense from some of those really key players when they come on and not allowing them to lift momentum with their bench.
Yeah.
Because Marata Niokore is he's a massive out for us.
100%.
Him coming off your bench is there's not many more impactful players that you can have. And I think he was one of the main reasons that, the Eels made that grand final that year.
Yeah.
When he came on, it just lifted things completely. So I think we're going to really miss him, and Nathan Brown is that for them.
100%.
So he's the guy I'm a bit worried about.
Yeah.
Having the game at home is obviously a real big advantage.
It's a massive
one.
It'd
be good.
Have you guys been to Four Pines?
No, but every game I watch are 4 Pines. Bro.
You are so close to the field, and they're always hammered. People come in from Brookville.
From Brookie and that. Yeah.
They knock off work in the afternoon, go to the pubs, and they sit on that sort of bank. And let me tell you, if you're a kid, you're learning some new words that afternoon. There's some real colourful stuff chucked at the players, and when you're lining up kicks, it's like the worst place that you can be playing for sure.
It's definitely a fortress.
I used to work in Brookvale actually. Back in 2011, the year we went to the grand final. But I used to go watch games at Brookies sometimes because Brookvale is actually kind of an industrial area. It's kind of like Mount Smart.
Yeah,
you're getting all that crowd's coming over, so it's exactly what Anton's saying. It's a rowdy crowd.
They knock off factories and stuff like that, and they go straight to the pub. That year too, they had all the beaver signs everywhere. It was it was terrible. It was oh man, just rubbing it in.
Nah, it's a tough place to play it. No, definitely. Yeah. You can feel it. And that'd be good. On the flip side, I think we do play at 4 Pines and towards the back end.
Yeah.
But let's get into this combined 17. What we're going to do, I'm going to go. Ash and Anton will battle it off. Yep. Argue their points or maybe agree. I'll be adjudicator.
Okay.
But the rules with this, Anton, is we pick based on the position. So it's not necessarily matchup. It's whoever the best left wing or left center, right center is. But yeah, we'll go through it. Starting off with what a great one to start off with. Trebojevic versus Chance. Go at it, you two. Ash, what's your thoughts, bro?
I'm gonna pull out my old reliable, bro. I love Chancey and I love him to death and all that. But if we're taking these guys at full health, Tommy Turbo is just he's a superstar. He's a superstar. Unbelievable player, gets through his run meters and all that. This is not taking anything away from Chancey. I think he's absolutely incredible and he can grow obviously into an incredible fullback he already is and all that. But Tommy Turbo, bro, touched the Origin stage, touched the international stage. The guy's an absolute freak, so I've got to go Tommy Turbo on this one.
Yep.
Yeah, this is a crap
it's
one
tough.
because he's Nickel Kluckstar is the ideal guy for our backline.
Exactly.
He works so perfectly in our team. But if you're going 1-on-1, you have to go Turbo. I think. He's got all the skills and he can win a game by himself.
Yeah.
I was a bit concerned. I'm not to bring him down, but the errors he's been having lately with the ball. I mean, he's so threatening, but he's just been seeming to just drop balls a lot. For lack of a better term. You both agreed on that, so I can't do anything about that. So the right wing is it Jackson Paulo, Ash?
Yep, it'd be Jacko Paulo, yep.
So Jacko Paulo versus Dallin. What's in is the Lesniak? Who have you got?
Gotta go Dal, bro. Gotta go Dal. I out of the two, Jackson has a little bit of promise in him and all that, but Jackson's I don't want to be so down on him or anything like that, but he's a very inconsistent winger at times. He's shown some brilliant ability at times, but he also has showed some really dour performances as well. You know, Dallin does have that in his game, but I think Dall's matured over the years and it just turned into such a great finisher. Just the work he gets out of his back end. I've got to go Dall, honestly.
Yep. Okay.
I'm not going to eat up too much time here. He's got the best hair in the competition.
Very
nice. Okay. Our left center, Marcelo Montoya versus Tommy Talau. Yeah. Ash.
Left center, you mean Roger? Roger versus Tommy Talau?
Sorry, left wing. Sorry, left wing. My apologies.
Yeah. Left wing. Oh, yo.
Yep, wrong word.
Yeah,
yep.
Sorry, bro. Tommy Talau. Yeah, fuck. I should have picked that up on it straight away. Yeah. Out of those two, I'm going Marcelo Montoya. I think Tommy Talau has a lot of skill, a lot of form. Injuries have definitely held him back from him getting to any sort of potential at the Tigers. Now him being shipped off to the Seagulls. Marcelo is just a rock out of the back end. He has a couple of errors in his game that he's like slowly fixing up. I think he's had a decent couple of weeks under him at this, this year and that. But yeah, I'm going Marcelo.
We got to stop agreeing, man.
I know.
We're going to start losing people.
Hopefully soon.
I might just throw a wrong call in there just for the sake of it. Well, I think Marcelo's like, yeah, absolutely. I'm going to pick him. You know, Tommy Talau's a center playing on the wing.
Yeah.
And I don't think he's a very good one at that. He's kind of probably second or third drop. So, yep, Marcelo.
Cool. Left center. So Roger versus, is it Kohler? Is that right?
Yep, that's right.
Okay, where are we at on that?
We're gonna keep agreeing here, Anton, bro. Yeah, Roger. Enough said, Roger.
This is the first time I'm going to throw a disagreement at you.
Oh, here we go.
Wow.
And it may be only just to be a contrarian, you know, but Roger is a better player. Yep, he is. Yep. He can make a big difference on a game, but as a center, I don't think he's learned the role, especially defensively, as well as Kohler. He's pretty much like he's an awesome defensive center, Kohler, and I think we've seen a couple of little errors already in Roger's game in that department. They just keep finding overlaps, and I know it's not always the fault of the outside backs, but there's been a couple of decisions from him early in the year that I know he's going to clean that up as the season goes on. But as a specialist center, I'm gonna say Kohler. I know people are going to hate that, but hey, you got to keep it spicy.
No, I love the move, bro. I do agree.
I'm going to do the old, what's the one on Gladiator where he puts the hand up? What does the crowd say?
Yeah.
Yay or nay? I'm actually going to go with Anton here. I appreciated his argument. Just for argument's sake, I think he presented his points well. Ash went straight to RTS. I think it would be just great to watch. I know they wouldn't be up against each other, but I agree. I'd say Kohler is just at this point in time sharper, and especially 100%. In the defensive areas. Cool, awesome. Rocco Berry versus Ben Trbojevic.
I think we agree here, Anton. Do we agree?
I think we're going to get an agreement here. Yep.
Yeah, 100%. Rocco all day. Benny's a good second rower. Has played center at a pinch, but yeah, Rocco's got a ton of potential under him at center. He's incredible.
Yep. Sorry, Anton. Yep.
I was just going to say, I always felt sorry for the youngest handsome brother, and that's kind of who he is.
Yeah, 100%.
Kind of like he wants to hang out with his brothers all the time, but he's not really as cool. But they kind of let him be part of the gang anyway, and he makes just as much money. But he's kind of like, everyone kind of knows. They wrote the songs, didn't they? He's like, yeah, but I'm related, so I should. I feel like that's kind of him at the moment. Let's just whack him at center. Yeah, he's an effort player. He's the kind of guy who they'll whack in there. They know he's gonna try his guts out. He's really fit. He's going to have all that kind of effort stuff happening for him. But at the end of the day, like as a technical center, he just doesn't. He's not a center for mine.
Yeah, I agree with you, boys. I think Roger's going to umbop his ankles on Saturday night. Oh, that was a good analogy. I love that. That was awesome. What have we got next? I think we're going to the halves now. Is that right?
Yes.
Now we do this as the best two halves. We don't really. Yeah. So who are your best two, Ash?
So the best two created, obviously, you just go Daly Cherry Evans and Sean Johnson. Like you'd push Shawnee to the 6 and Daly Cherry Evans to the 7. Probably doesn't look as good now as what it probably did in the past, where Shawnee, I feel like, suited a little bit more of that 6 role in the past with his running game and all that, even though, Shawnee played his best games in the 7 role. But you know what I mean? Like these days, it doesn't look as good as the old days, but yeah, they're the two best halves out of this halves combination here. If we were going to go 6 and 7, like it'd be a really, really tough call. But yeah, Shawnee and Daly Cherry Evans.
Okay, so we're choosing who are the two best players or the
halves
best
combination.
Best players, yeah.
Yeah, it's the 2 7s, yeah, for sure.
100%.
Yeah.
Cool. And actually, if we'll just go on a matchup here, but Brooks over to Mighty, or Brooks versus Mighty, who would win in that matchup? Because that's an interesting one. But
I would have Luke Brooks.
Yeah, Brooks has been looking good, eh?
Over to Mighty, and it's and that's just it's just from watching him over the last few years, just having that consistency. He's been playing a lot of footy. I think he's actually been quite consistent,
100%.
With how he's been playing. We just haven't seen enough from Tamata yet, to really know. But there's not much in it.
No, not much at all. I think Brooks is having a great season. I love seeing him at a better club, a better situation. He's looked really good.
Yeah.
Okay, now we're going to get into some nitty gritty here. But Fanul Blake versus Paseka.
Agreeing, Anton?
I think we hopefully agree with Adam there.
AF, bro. AFB.
Yep.
AFB. Paseka. What's the read on Paseka? I'm hearing a lot of noise around him. Is he as good as people are saying, or is he improving? Apparently?
He's improving quite a lot. For a bigger body, back in the day, he never used to run like it, had a little bit of errors in his game, and that now I feel like he's starting to know his size, his presence in a game. He's starting to pick it up a lot and has a ton of potential with the size of his body. Like he's a massive front rower. But yeah, he's growing very, very nicely for the Manly Sea Eagles. Hopefully he continues on the uptrend for them.
He's been a guy that they've been waiting to have a season like this for a long time now. He's such a big guy and so capable, but it's a bit like the Saifidi boys when they started. Physically, they had all the attributes of someone who should be successful in the role, but they're young, don't have the confidence. And they're not the hugest guy on the field anymore. Whereas when you're coming up through the grade and you're like a giant and just knocking kids over left, right, and center, like you don't actually have to do that much. But then when you come to grade and it's like, no, we're going to pick you out because you're inexperienced, and even though you're big, it doesn't matter. There's a bit of learning that has to happen there, but he looks real confident this year, and I think this is the year that we're going to see him. I wouldn't be surprised if he's in the frame for Origin at some point, whether it's this year or next year. Yeah,
interesting. Yeah, cool.
I think he's that good.
Yep. Love it. Good call.
Still loses though.
Yeah. Egan versus Croker. Oh yeah. What do we got here?
Yeah, we'll agree here, Anton. But we're going to go Egan. But lastly, on Lockie Croker, like he's grown into such a consistent 9. Injuries have always been somewhat of his problem as well. Being a half, jumping into the 9 role. His kicking game is better than Egan's kicking game because we barely get to see Egan's kicking game at all, whatever, because Shawnee is our mainly in-game kicker and stuff. But Lockie Croker's kicking game is something to watch out for in 9. If Daly Cherry Evans doesn't kick the ball, it's probably going to be Lockie Croker up next. And he's got 40-20s in his resume. Like, he's a beast in 9 for that role there. But overall game, Wade Egan.
Yep. Agree there?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Absolutely. Okay, beautiful. Barnett versus Aloiai. Where you guys? Where you at, Ash?
I'm going my man Barney, bro. I've always been a massive fan of Mitch Barnett. Just the aggression he shows through the middle and all that. I just got to go Mitch Barnett, 100%.
Yeah, I'm there too. Shout out to Peter Volandis for calling Aloiai Oshe Ole. At the Deli Inns that time. Every time I see him, I'm like, oh, Oshe Ole. Every time I see him, I can't help it.
Aloiai. Yeah, Aloiai. Yeah, cool. Okay. Now, who's the left? Is it Jackson Ford versus
Corey Waddell?
Corey Waddell. Okay.
Yep.
What do you got there?
Yeah, going Jackson forward. I've seen like Corey Whittle's had some really, really good performances lately and all that, but had struggled to find a starting role till real legit now, being Ben Trebojevic going into that centre role and that. Jackson forward has grown leaps and bounds just jumping into this Warriors system. Still has areas in his game, I understand that, but Jacko's line running is just incredible in that. Got to go Jacko.
Yep.
Forward easy. Okay. Capewell versus Olakau'atu. Yes. This is where are you going with this one, Ash?
I'm going Olakau'atu. I think just Olakau'atu's skill, presence on a football field and all that is on a different level. I love Capewell's like dirty work getting into a game, does all the 1%ers, but I think Homole's got a shot for Origin this year, being in that Blues edge. Even if he comes off the bench, bro, he's going to be a presence if he hits that field. So yeah, he's definitely one of our players that we need to like slow down as early as possible.
Okay.
He's a bad man.
He is.
He's just a weapon, man. He's one of my favorite players to watch in the whole competition. So yeah, I'd go for Olakau'atu as well. He's over Capes.
Yep. Cool. Awesome. Trebojevic versus Tohu Harris. Mate, this is a good one. Start with you, Ash. Where are you sitting on this one?
Yeah. It's like I want to try to make this really... I've got to sway the way of Tohu. Like, Tohu is, for me, the most underrated 13 in the game. I understand, like, he looks like he's running on one leg sometimes, and but he just like plays as long as minutes you want him to. He's our captain, just like he's our spiritual leader through the middle. All the hard work he does through the middle, I got to go him. Jake Trebojevic, we all know Jakey, like he'll snap blokes left, right, and center. But Tohu, yeah, he's just got that passing game. Even though Jakey used to have that passing game in him, you don't see it too much anymore. He's used more as that battering ram of just snapping blokes in the middle. Where Tohu's legit, like a lot of our attack is around Tohu, Wado, Shawnee. Just some of the passing game for the middle. I got to go Tohu.
Yeah, it's interesting. He plays more like a prop these days. Actually, the oldest Hansen.
Yeah.
Where I was really impressed with him was when he played for the Kangaroos at prop.
Yeah.
I thought he was amazing in the games that he played there. But in terms of a lock, you have to go Tohu for sure.
Yep.
Cool. Good job, guys. I'm not even going to count because I'm horrible with it, but it sounds like we're in the lead. I'm pretty sure. Now the bench, what we do is we do the best 4 players. So yeah, you got to pick of the 8 players there, which 4 would you take? So yeah, Ash, you see what we've got there? Yep.
Yeah, bro. So I'm out of these 4 that we can choose from here. I'm probably going to go Chanel Harris-Tavita at that 14 because I think he covers a lot more positions. I used to love Carl Lawton when he played for the Warriors and all that, and I still think he's a classy player in that. But as a 14 in that, I'm going Chanel. And then the other 3, I would fill in with Sipley, Nathan Brown, and I'll finish it off there with Tom Ale.
Okay, cool. Anton, your bench there from that 8?
Mine was exactly the same, which is annoying. So, but I would go Chanel, which is, and it's funny because Manly's got a couple of former Warriors on the bench too. So I'd go Chanel. I'd go Ale. I'd go Sipley, and I'd go Laban.
Oh, I like that.
I like
that. If anything happens to us, one of our second rowers, Olakau'atu is a mountain. And I would want someone who can come on who's got enough size to get in front of that dude and make his tackles. So, and also I just want to freak the kid out a bit.
I like that. The trainer.
Sipley's actually one of the guys that I would just love us to have a go at. I'd actually like, from a recruitment point of view, I'd love to bring him back home.
Yeah. Like, just imagine him just going, like, just swapping him literally over right now with Jazz over there.
He is like, he's at the point of his career as a prop. He's coming into the best, part of his career. Yep. And I think if we could get him over to the Warriors, like, soon, I think they've locked him up for a little bit. But, what's a lock? Locks can be picked.
We've seen it in the past.
Yeah, we have. Yeah. I've just got to really, I was annoyed when he left. I was kind of like, oh shit. I think they chose Bunty over him, so I couldn't be too annoyed. But yeah, they went to school together. They came right through high school together, the pair of them. So it'd be cool to bring them home.
Yeah,
Bro,
cool.
6'3", 120 kilos, bro. Like, and he's just like growing into his game so much at Manly. So he'd be perfect to bring back home. I agree.
Yeah, maybe we make him a little welcome basket at Mount Smart. You know,
Bro, put the TAS. I was a tour for 4 appreciation society. Bring it back, Anton.
just get the Mad Butcher to kidnap him for a while.
Yeah. Take him to Waiheke for a couple months.
Yeah.
Awesome, guys. Well, I think based off of that, it should be 40-6 scoreline.
We are a Warriors channel.
Actually, quickly, everyone, 110 people in here, please. Massive. We appreciate you guys' support, and we know you're all here for Anton anyway, so we're really grateful for you. If you can give us a like and a subscribe, and also give Anton a follow on Twitter, that would be much appreciated. But yes, let's get into score prediction now. Where are you guys at? We'll start with you, Ash.
Yep.
Your thoughts on how the game will go, and what's your score prediction, brother?
I think it's going to be really, really tight. I honestly do. I think, as we kind of touched on before, this is a double-edged sword sort of game. Like, I could see us maybe trumping on the Seagulls coming in, maybe down on a little bit like the energy they spent in that last game against the Penrith Panthers. But I could also see, us coming off that Rabbits game, got all the momentum, everyone saying that we're the best thing in town and all that, and maybe not really seeing what we got in front of. Like the Seagulls, what the team they're bringing over is a very, very good squad. So, and they've been in form other than the Dragons game and all that this year. They've had some really, really top performances. Attacking football, they play like free-flowing footy from their back end as well, which is really, really... Like, for us, we need to get on top of that as quickly as possible. They're not afraid to shift from their back end and really go down our edges. And that would be some of the parts that we do lack on at times, with the Warriors, is our edge defense at times. We've seen it in late minute parts of the game against the Raiders last year, even in this year with the Knights game and all that. They're attacking us late on their edges, and I could see that sort of happening in this game if we don't really get on top of it really early. So I'm thinking about that 20-16 type game with us getting the really close win. But I could see this, going really, really close. I think Manly have some good opportunities to score some good points here. But I got to back our boys here on a good game plan, and hopefully we shut out Tommy Turbo as much as we can.
Anton?
Yep. I just had a sneaky look at the weather for Friday before making my score predictions.
What's it look?
Looks pretty good. So we've got kind of like a little bit of rain through the week, but it's looking good for Saturday, which is good because I'm going spearfishing. But that's neither here nor there.
Are you going with Tamati before the game, are you?
I wish. He's got the spot X by the looks of things. So I think it'll be close, and it wouldn't surprise me if it's decided in the last five minutes.
Yeah.
I think it'll be low scoring. I don't think any team will score 20 points. So
Wow.
I could see it being something like 18-12 or 18-14. Warriors, obviously. But it wouldn't surprise me for it to be less of a try fest and more of a controlled game. I don't know why I'm getting that feeling. There's so much attack everywhere, but I think we're still struggling to capitalize on a lot of our possession.
Yep.
Hopefully we change that this week, and if we do, I think we'll pull their pants down for sure. But I just not convinced that we're quite there yet with the attack and converting those points. So I'm going to say 18-14 Warriors.
Wow. Yeah. Cool. I can see that argument too. Like, for me, there's just, I think that bench for me, it probably takes just a tad bit off the scoreline, and maybe I see that it could be a fluctuating game again. I just think they're a good squad. I think with the addition of Brooks, just brings another element for them. Like we've just talked about their forward pack. Cherry Evans, he just has something with the Warriors. He's always there or thereabouts. I think it will be a similar type game. For me, it's about the 18-point mark. If we get it to the 18-point mark, it's either always going to be close. At the end is what Anton's saying.
Yep.
Or it's it could be a loss if it's. I think if it gets to 24, I'm happy there. I feel like we can like come strong on the back end and seal up the game. Like I like what we've done the last two games, I mean the Canberra game and the Knights game, just really kind of separated. But then again, and then obviously with the Bunnies, I think the Bunnies washed that one away. That was a really poor Bunnies side going through things. We just need to reset and scale back our expectations. I think this will be a tight one. I would like to say a 24-16, 24-18, but I wouldn't be surprised if it's what Anton's saying about 18-14, something like that. Yeah.
I do think.
Sorry, bro. You go.
I do think that our game plan does suit, like, just looking at this team list on paper, like Tommy Talau and Jackson Borlo, like, if we really rain them, I'd say we're probably going to rain them down on Tommy Talau all game out of the two, and we'll put them under a lot of pressure with Barry and Capewell down that edge. I think, there's promising signs there. If we run our same game plan, just stick solid and really hold them down their end and put some pressure on them. But yeah, again, as I said before, the only worry is they're a team that is not afraid to shift it in their own end too, and not live down 1-out runs from the back end and we pin them down in that end. So it's going to be interesting. Our game plan does suit, but yeah, I'm really curious to see how it goes. What's your thoughts, Anton?
If I'm Seabold, I'm kind of watching the Knights game, because I think they obviously had a star fullback who made a lot of breaks against us from broken play, often on kick returns, and they actually had made overlaps quite easily a couple of times on us too. And they found that ball to put the winger away because he's good enough. Other teams, there might be something on, but they're too slow at executing it. With Tom Turbo and the halves that they've got, they will find that player on the outside. Neither of them have the pace to run the whole field, but we just got to watch that, I think, because we have wingers that like to jam, and I think that'll be on the tapes for sure for Manly.
Yeah, Gola's definitely one we need to shut down too. The speed that Gola possesses is one that if there is a bit of a shift that's going on the edge, he's the one that can turn it into 4 points. Where against the Rabbitohs, they struggled to. They had Isaac Thompson obviously scored early off a really nice footwork on chance, but they don't really have the speed. They didn't have anyone in the back end that you'd probably be is going to go all the way if it gets an open break. At the Knights, we covered as much as we could, even though, KP's there and all that. We covered pretty well because they don't have the speed of a Gola has speed. This kid's he's lightning when he gets in that back end. So be interesting to see us cover that.
Yeah, I think that if you saw even South got us on that first try, was if you can get the back row on the outside of Sean, and then work Latrell working 3-on-2 with and that's dangerous. And if you're going to do that with Travojevic all day, they're going to get some points at some point. So I think those shifts, those wide shifts from right to left, we just need to be really tight. I think the boys kind of sussed it out as the game went along, but with Manly, I just think they're just so. I really rate their attack. I mean, I was surprised really the Dragons really nullified them, and I felt they got into a kind of their shell. They kind of got rocked. What's happened? Nothing's working.
It's Win Stadium, bro. I'm pretty sure they were playing at Win Stadium in that game, and I think Manly struggle every time I've watched Manly versus Dragons. They usually struggle at Win Stadium from memory. Yeah.
But I think there's still a good squad. I mean, to go and do that against Penrith, that will keep them confidence high. Yeah. So I think they're going to come in really strong. So we don't take it lightly for sure.
And short sides too. Manly they love a little short side sweep too, just to catch people off guard. Lockie Croak is good at spotting it, and Cherry Evans is real. He'll whip around the back, and suddenly there's something on. They're really good at executing those. So we got to make sure that we kind of are aware of those things. But hey, Webby's all over it.
Yeah. Webby's watching this thing. He's not ready. Webby's watching this these fools. What are they talking about? I've got this sorted. I've sorted this about 6 months ago.
Thanks, Booch.
I think, guys, we'll wrap it up there. Appreciate everyone coming in. I think we've covered a lot of bases. Actually, I just want a last quick question, just quick fire. We won't go too deeply into it. But the next 4 games, I mean, we've got the Dragons away next week. I think we've got the Titans at home Anzac Day, and then the Knights away. What's your off the top of the head? How do you think we go in those next, including the Seagulls game? How do we go in the next 4?
I hopefully we should be over the top of a lot of these teams here, but it's still a long season. I wouldn't be surprised if we drop at least one of those games. The Knights one could be one that like we may drop later on, but hopefully not. Like I feel like we are a better team than the rest of these teams that we're playing here, but it's pretty hard to say that we're going to win every game this season. You can't really say that, but if you're looking at those teams on paper, if we played perfectly, I reckon it's a really good run that we can make a really good run.
Yep. If we're serious about winning a comp this year, we should feel confident in beating all 4 of those teams. 100%. And I think we will. I think we'll beat all of them. And I think we're going to go on a run here. So every week we're getting a bit better, I reckon. Just in a lot of areas, it might not be reflected in the score, but I actually think we're starting to build nicely. Other people are seeing it as well, and I think we'll beat all 4 of these teams.
Yeah. No. Awesome. Cool. I'm of the same vein. I think we're into our season. I talked about it like a game of a board game where you have to roll a 6. It felt like that the Melbourne one was the one that we were going to nail it and start. It just was unfortunate the ending, but we got into our season and now we're just picking up. So I'm with you guys as well.
If we had won that Melbourne game, imagine how people would be talking about what the Warriors are doing now. And we could have won that game. 100%. But if we beat Melbourne in Melbourne, that's something that we don't do, right? We don't win that game, right? No. So if we had won that game, and then we smashed South last week, suddenly everybody's going, this is a top 2 side. This is a grand final team, blah, blah. But we didn't win that game. So we're still, we're still the same team. We could have won it, but I think we are a strong enough team to beat all of these teams. And if we don't, then it's fine. It's fine to drop one, but you'd certainly be backing yourself to do it. I think with the team 100%. We've got.
Yeah. And especially when we got that run, and then you got the Roosters, the one after that. Like, if I'm going to circle matchups, the Roosters one that we always seem to struggle against the Roosters. Like, we always seem to struggle with the Rabbitohs. Like, it was good to see us get over the top of the Rabbitohs in that one. Obviously, the Rabbitohs weren't amazing, but it's still a team that we usually have a thing against where we don't really get over the top of. The Roosters are another one. And then after that's the Panthers at Magic Round. That's the big one. So if we get a nice little run going on here, we set us up really nicely for these 2 big matchups coming up.
Yep, cool. Yeah, man, awesome. Thank you, guys. Anton, especially, man. Thank you for coming through.
Amazing,
and being the lawyer for for Bunty there. But we've really acknowledged his work, bro. But we know we appreciate you, and you're welcome anytime. I know we're all kind of in the similar boat with time poor, kids, things like that. So appreciate you, bro, coming in. And
thanks for having me on.
Yeah, you're always welcome, man. Anytime.
Amazing eye, bro. Amazing eye.
Yep. Thank you, guys. Thank you, everyone in the chat. Sorry we can get to every comment, but we love the cordial that's going on in there. Ash, my man, thank you as always. I'm going to be at the game. I might actually see Anton there if I'm walking around. But Ash is going to be running full credit, guys, on Saturday. Appreciate you, man. But if we can get time, we can jump on. Maybe on the drive home to Hamilton, I might jump in for a little cordial, but otherwise, guys will be Ash will be holding that one down on Saturday, and then regular programming as always. But thank you very much, everyone. Enjoy the rest of your week. Mull over it a bit more, but we appreciate everyone, and we'll see you guys Saturday. Okay.
Up the wahs.
Up the wahs.
Peace.